Today's guest is Matt Daigle from Rise. Hey, Matt, thanks for coming back on the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Tats.
So, I think it's been, maybe as long as 2 years since we chatted. So I'm really looking forward to catching up and seeing what you've been up to.
Yeah, I think it's been a while. I'm also looking forward to chatting and giving you the update. And yeah, I love your show, obviously, and looking forward to chatting more.
Great. So, Matt, I mean, last time you talked, I mean, we were talking about user experience and websites, and you're getting. I think at the time you said like million views, and growing. I mean, walk us through, where you were then and where you are now. What's changed?
Yeah, well, since we chatted, COVID happened, and so a lot. uh, so that, and I think a lot of us already know kind of the impact of the home improvement industry and what that's done, and it's been kind of nonstop. Our traffic, last time we chatted, was on its way up, and it has continued that way. We now welcome anywhere between 10 to 12,000 folks to our website every day, and so that puts us on pace for 4 or 5 million range in the run of a year. The other big thing that's happened more recently, and actually as of this week, for the last few months, we've been working extremely hard with our partners and manufacturers to launch a store, an online store. So for the last few years, Rise has really kind of grown up as uh, an educational resource for folks. So if you wanted to have a more sustainable home but didn't really know where to get started, you come to Rise, and usually you would find us by typing a question into Google, and we often show up in the results, and we give you tons of tidbits, advice, information, inspiration, things like photos, even rebates and incentives. Um, but then we kept getting kind of the same questions like, what this is great, these products that are either better for your health, your wealth, or the planet, they're all great and you've convinced me on them, but where do I get them? And so it turns out a lot of these products, they're not super accessible yet. A lot of them are kind of the bleeding edge of innovation, and the big box stores might not have them. They might have different distribution networks. So working with these manufacturers, we've essentially made them all available in one place, and you can buy them from the comfort of your home and have them delivered right to your door. And also working obviously with professionals and giving, we have our own trade program. So that's essentially what we've launched this week. We made that official, and so it's obviously a really exciting time for us as we shift towards selling products.
Interesting. How is it received? I know you were kind of on the manufacturers were paying to be listed and sort of model to now selling it. So things that come to mind are like possible channel conflicts. Like, how are the manufacturers viewing this?
They're loving it. It's actually been quite a different reception. Um, I will tell you, what's been really exciting is every single new manufacturer that we've talked to, including our existing, that have the potential to do e-commerce, uh, have said yes to us, and so we're pretty well batting 100 at the moment, and that feels really good. It was something that before, as a company, we were working with manufacturers, but to give brand exposure, and so essentially we were selling marketing to folks, and that's great. But it's completely different conversation. And now that we're actually selling products, the mission of the company and where we're going, trying to promote sustainable home improvement, that's very near and dear to many manufacturers. So there's almost instant alignment there, and it's just been a very easy yes. The other thing too that's nice is right now we're working with either drop shippers, or for folks that don't have their own drop shipping options, we actually have enterprise level kind of discounts for shipping. So if they don't have their own shipping, we can provide it to them. It makes it really kind of a no brainer for them, and obviously have flexible terms and all of that. So it's been fantastic to be tell you to tell you the truth.
Wonderful. Now, I think I know what the answer is, but I need to ask the question. I mean, what's the difference between working with you guys on this as a manufacturer and listing on eBay or somewhere else, or Amazon?
Yeah, I mean, the big difference is that we have the audience already, right? And you know, it's that I think that's been where we've really been able to differentiate ourselves, is that people consult us already on how to have a more sustainable home, how to find products that are better for better for themselves, for their health, for their pocketbooks, and obviously for the planet. Um, that's kind of resonated with everybody. The fact that we've been able to kind of build in education uh, into these products. So when you go to actually check out a product, we already have a bunch of content that kind of helps make you feel a lot better about your decision. You know, if you're buying, let's say, hemp insulation, well, we have a ton of info about hemp insulation, why it might be a better decision than maybe the typical alternative, maybe the fiberglass alternative or something like that. And it just makes that decision process that much easier for folks and why they might choose that product.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Now, I've been talking to, a lot of people about sustainability, and I've heard the term more and more, the word performance used to describe environmental stuff. So, environmental performance, material health performance. Is that a trend that you see as well? Just sustainability, not for the sake of doing good, but as a performance metric.
Yeah, 100%. And I think in our early days, we associated sustainable home improvement in general just to high quality. And high performance goes right along with that. You know, we talk a lot about the best performance homes at Rise, you know, whether it be passive house standards, or if you're looking to go all out with, you know, whether it's LEED credits or Living Building Institute, you know, these really like kind of pinnacle builds that you can go and create. Um, yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but I feel like high performance in general is it's a topic that's coming up more and more, and I think specifically for builders, that's kind of the term they gravitate to, right? It's not green building or eco-friendly type build or anything. It's all about high performance. How do you get a home to be resilient to the elements? How do you get it to be efficient at the same time so it's not costing you a whole lot to run it? How do you make it healthy for the occupants inside? um, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Now, how much, it's really exciting that you're going from just someone that provides, basically access to an audience to basically facilitating the transaction. Now, how much was this change facilitated because of the pandemic and the speed up of technology adoption? How much do you think that contributed to this current direction?
Well, I'd love to say that it was the reason for it, but it was part of our mission from a while back. We knew that eventually we'd be selling products. I think for us, it was just important to establish a good baseline of educational content that folks can easily digest, all while growing an audience and a community at the same time. And obviously, with COVID, in the pandemic, it's really obviously it helped with our numbers. There was a lot more people spending time in their homes, a lot more people working from home, and a lot of the travel budgets that folks were taking were being redistributed towards home improvement things. So that kind of favored us in that sense. But overall, I think we've known for a while now that this would be an eventual direction for us. It also allows us to really close the loop and measure the impact that we have as a company. Because up until this point, we're really, when you're a source for content and research, you're really influencing people. That's really all you're doing, is you're helping them make better decisions. But you can't really say, Rise helped X number of people to reduce, their carbon footprint by this much. Now we can do that. Now that we're selling products, we can actually start to measure that, and that's the really exciting part. It's closing that loop.
So So yeah, I mean, what sort of internal metrics are you measuring? How are you quantifying that, or is that just a plan to quantify it more internally going forward?
Yeah, that's the eventual plan. I'd love to say that we have that all in place today. It's more of a once we really start to see our revenue go like this, then we'll eventually start to measure things like carbon footprint, like things that we can actually see and measure. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but
Yeah, absolutely. Now you have the captive audience yourself. I mean, at some point, is the plan to sell your own, well, let's say, for the safe side, non-competing products to the people that you're
no, that
servicing?
we've yeah, so already been asked that, and we've parked it for the time being. Just right now, it's basically a race to provide as many new SKUs to our platform as possible. Every single day, we are adding new products. That makes it really exciting. Um, but that we do see a potential future where either a white labeling of products or products that we really have fallen head over heels in love with, that make would make sense to have a rise logo on. It's something that we are looking into.
Yeah. So, and as a manufacturer, I'm always interested in terms of selling online. Does the support come from you, or does it come from the company? How does the client relationship work, or how do you envision it working?
So we are on the front lines. We are the ones providing that first level of support for folks. There is the odd instance where we do have to go back to the manufacturer, where we're getting into some much more technical discussions. But for the most part, we are the front lines. We're the ones. You're transacting on Rise, and it's obviously really important to us to do that because, well, we really believe in the products that we've researched and vetted, and we need to stand behind them. So it's important for us to be on those front lines. Also, understand concerns, understand, is there a product that's not working as intended, or how can we make this product better? And I think it's been nice to work with manufacturers who are receptive to that feedback as well. And we want to be part of that conversation.
Yeah, no, now I'm curious. So, in terms of routing, product training, so how do you envision that going? Because obviously you're adding SKUs all the time. There's new products, there's new features. I mean, first, I mean, obviously you get the manufacturers in. There's training, but at some point, I mean, how do you envision how many products could someone reasonably have any knowledge of? How do you see that growing out?
You mean, I'm not sure I understand the
Like
question.
when you ask in your front line, you're answering
Yeah.
questions about
Right.
products,
Right. Right.
right?
Right.
You add 100 products. That's 100 things that you needed to get educated on. How do you
Mhm.
envision that scaling? Like, does it go into product groups? Is there does everyone need to know everything? Is it tiered? Like, I'm just curious. I mean, I've never like we have a few products, and it's like, oh no, we got to train everyone again, and we're thinking
Yeah.
about that. But I'm thinking about, okay, you're going to have hundreds if not thousands, and maybe if you start storing some of this stuff, you'll have an EDI system, and so I'm just wondering how you're thinking about training and onboarding.
Yeah. I love that you're asking a question that's like very future focused, and so it's like, well, I'm glad that you're thinking about this for me. Yeah, and it so not that I haven't given it thought myself, and I have, but I do envision this being a few years down the road. But for us, it on the front lines, it is important to have some base level knowledge of sustainable home improvement. So just having anyone off the street just, help us with providing support wouldn't be the case. We'd have to have almost maybe similarly to how Apple has their gurus, or however you call them, folks who are who have enough base information that they can direct the customer somewhere. I think that's where we'd like to go. Eventually, though, having product experts that are like dedicated for certain product types would be ideal. Today we have just over 300 different product types that we've looked at and analyzed at Rise, and it would be fantastic it was divided into, specific funnels of like, well, these guys are responsible for these are our roofing experts, and they'll tell you all about, what you need to know for a new roof.
Yeah, very cool. Well, that's what makes it fun, right, Matt? I mean, it's
Y-
always a new thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I love that question. It's almost like you're part of Rise, and you're like, okay, when we do this, when like what are we gonna do here? And I love it.
No, that's awesome. While you were doing all this stuff, while this stuff is, like you said, you're changing or adding new things to your business. It's fun. It's exciting. There's challenges, but I mean, have you during the pandemic? What else were you doing, or were you like just working? Because like for me, I was just just working because there's so many unknowns, and you just want to cover everything. Like, how did you
Mhm.
um, manage that? Period. I mean, we're still kind of in it, but I mean, how'd you navigate it for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit like you guys, we were already a little bit remote. We do have headquarters and an office that's available for folks, but increasingly the team has been a bit more spread out, and so working from home just made it really easy for folks. So the team managing the team was completely fine. As far as what we were doing at the time, so this was back early last year. Um, we actually started really truly working on executing on the store in the fall of last year. But right before that, when COVID started, we actually were working with real estate agents. So we wanted to kind of get the word out in a scalable way, and we thought of real estate agents because, well, they talk to homeowners every single day, and they could almost be our mini marketing agent. So turns out, as a real estate agent, you need to take courses every single year to keep your license. And so, what we ended up doing is repurposing the existing content that we had on Rise into courses, um, 3 credit hour courses, Orello certified. So, and that means that basically it's good to go in most states and provinces in Canada. And so we started working with real estate associations to sell these courses and to essentially help kind of spread the word out about Rise through real estate agents. So we still have that available today. Courses are still available for real estate agents, and for us, it's kind of also allowed us to kind of walk the talk that it's not just content that's online, but we have accredited content that's available for folks. It was actually accredited also, I should say, for the American Institute of Architects, also accredited for ResNet, NARI, NAHB. So all of those professions now have access to I think our first 3 courses now are accredited for um, through those associations. So
So let me get you correctly. I mean, real estate agents are a marketing resource, right, for you, but you've turned your content into an education thing where you're making some money off it and you're marketing at the same time. So you're making money marketing, essentially.
essentially, yes, yeah, yeah, exactly.
I
it's
like
uh,
that.
it's one way to put it, and it's obviously it was low effort for us because we already had the content. It was just about repurposing it and making it into self-paced courses that anybody could take at any time. We even spun a homeowner version of it. So if you're interested as a homeowner, you just want to go that extra step beyond the content that we have on Rise, you can actually take the homeowner course um, right on the website. So um, yeah, it just kind of made sense for us, and we're gonna keep the educational kind of content alive on Rise. We're gonna keep nurturing it over time. We'd love to have more courses, but for now, we have been all hands on deck for the store. This thing is taking off, and we're really excited about it.
Wonderful. That's really exciting. You have a few different areas. I mean, it's amazing when you just I don't know. I mean, was this core thing? It just came up. Out. It wasn't planned. It feels like it just kind of happened organically out of need and discussion. Is that how it happened?
A little bit, yeah. We had an idea in the fall before COVID that real estate agents could be a way in for us. And through COVID, it accelerated it in a sense, and just basically said, well, people are spending a lot more time at home, including real estate agents, and they still need to take courses. So for us, it just made a lot of sense. Everything was also going virtual. So there are some courses that you can actually take as a real estate agent in person. So those were kind of going away, right? And for us, it just made sense. A lot of associations were lacking content as well. Um, a- Obviously, a lot of the associations were lacking content in our field. We talk about sustainable home improvement, yes, but we also are just talking about things that a real estate agent should know, like how to spot certain things in a house that are maybe more on the technical side, but that a homeowner would want to know, like what type of water heaters in there, or what is there a lot of insulation in this house. How do you find out if you don't know, instead of having to wait for a home inspection to get all those results, right? So I think, yes, our courses are kind of based on the premise of sustainability, but it's also based on the premise of just knowing what's in your house. I would welcome anybody who's viewing to check out our shop at shop.buildwithrise.com. And for Canadian folks, it's shop.buildwithrise.ca. So we do have two versions of the store. And we're adding new and exciting products to our platform every single day. For any manufacturers watching, obviously we'd love to have a conversation. If mission and vision align, and you're making products that are making a difference, we want to know about them. So